Throwback Thursday. I haven't done like a story or sort of thing like that. I don't think for a while. So I'm gonna go back to my sophomore year playing JV football in high school, and our head coach, his name is Greg Keller. Rest in peace. I I loved him. I had him as a teacher as well. But he was a former player from what I understand, but you could tell he was broken down by the time, he was at our school and he was coaching, but he was just one of those guys that had like that grit about him. I think he may have had like a few things in his past, as far as like drinking. It seemed like, because there were some days in class it seemed like he may have just been, but we were kids, so maybe we just weren't seeing a bigger picture. So I'm not saying that to disparage his memory, because I think of him fondly. But one day I was a receiver, and not a very good one. And one day he told me, he said, "You're very aware of what's going on the field." And it was the kindest way of trying to tell somebody you're playing scared. You're looking more at getting hit rather than catching the ball, things like that. So, and I immediately knew what he was talking about. And you work to change it, but things just come in time. And so I've always had that. You're very aware. And I always look around. I've always tried to be aware of my surroundings. But in this instance, it was kind of one of those things. There's a time where you have to focus. So as time went on and I played later, at a different level, I used my awareness in the sense that it became one of my greatest strengths. I was pretty fast, decent hands, but what I could do is take note of what the defense was doing and at some point expose it. And I'll go to one example. My cat's sitting outside the door. Um, there was a team that we were playing, and I believe it was a playoff game, and the DB and the safety kept they were almost being dramatic about how they were going about their signal calling. And it was banjo, banjo, banjo. I got him. And it was lock in. And that guy was over me and da da da. And I just kept studying banjo, banjo. And sure enough, banjo is what did them in when I scored the game winning touchdown, because I knew exactly where they would step and I exposed that and the ball was right there. I may have even gone back to my quarterback and said, "Hit me here because this is what they're doing." Setting the state record for AZFL, or at least an unbreakable record, the 99.9-yard touchdown, came off of awareness. The play before we scored, I told the running back who was running the plays in and out, "Tell the coach I can beat this guy. We just have to right now, right in the seam. I got him." And that's exactly what happened. And for some of you who've seen the video, the rest is history. It was just a foot race from there. But awareness doesn't have to be a fear-based sort of thing, which is what I was doing. As a younger player, I was more concerned with getting hit rather than catching the ball, then getting hit, or maybe not even getting hit at all. And then as I started to become aware, it became my greatest strength. I would say one of my greatest strengths was the ability to read things, see what people are doing. If the guy's shoe was untied from one play to the next, if he, was cramping, I could hear what they were saying on their sidelines because I was lining up wide early in my career. Then later, as a slot, I could still hear what the defensive calls were. I could hear all of their communications, and it just became one of those things that you played in a different level, in a different zone. And the quarterbacks that I had were fantastic, where we had this thing where I could just slip into open zones and, there you go. It didn't, early, it was down the field, just throw it deep and we got it. But then as time went on, then it was like, okay, we got short passes. We can pick, then hit them over the top. But I'm only using football on football because that's where the awareness started and that's where it took me. But you can use what people will constructively criticize about, your process, and make it a fantastic strength, a terrific ally, and just a very important part of your arsenal, if you will. I don't like to use it as weaponry, but um, it can just become one of the greatest assets that you can have at a particular stage. Now, I feel like I drive aware. I try to be aware at my job and see things ahead of time and all that stuff. But in that instance, what I was being told about my football playing at one point is where I took it and applied it and used it to my advantage in another. So I'm going to stop rambling and sounding like Al Bundy, waxing poetic about high school football and beyond. But I was very blessed to come out of that game with uh, few injuries and a lot of fantastic memories, even greater friends and family. So, guys, hopefully this helps. Take what they're telling you and use it, spin it, build it. Same way, I don't know, if somebody said, you need more leg day routine, then you go and do it. If you need more, more to detail in your resume about your past employment, you fill it in. So fill those things in and utilize them to your strengths and progress. Guys, have a fantastic day. Peace, love, unity, solidarity.